Just a few weeks ago, Drake posted this video of him from 2012, talking about how pretending to own a certain Rolls Royce became reality 10 years later just through the power of manifestation. But that's not the only time Drake has talked about manifestation. Actually, he's quite notorious about it. In fact, in 2007, he Googled the best residential pool in the world and made that picture his wallpaper. I think 15 odd years or so later, he signed the lease on that same house and lives lavishly in it.
So, if Papa Drake talks about manifestation, we talk about manifestation.
So back in 2017, Mahima had planned her first solo trip to London and she was super excited about it. This was the first time she was traveling alone. So naturally, she didn't want to ask money from her parents, also because she's completely spent her allowance by that time. But she really wanted some money to go to this trip. So randomly, a month before her trip, a friend that she hadn't spoken to for a really long time reappeared in her life. This friend was also surprisingly doing his master's thesis research on cryptocurrency. Now, back, all these 5 odd years ago, cryptocurrency wasn't that widely understood of a concept. This was the first time rather that Mahima herself was hearing about cryptocurrency, but she was so desperate to make money, she pulled out, and we do not recommend this to any kids watching, $4,000 from her next semester's fee and told this guy, you know what, I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to invest my money. So she put
Papa.
exactly. So she put these $4,000 and invested in these random cryptocurrencies, and she forgot about it. But there was this one number that was just stuck in her head, and that was 19,000. It was just stuck in her head, so she just wrote it on a piece of paper. And mind you, this is somebody who absolutely has no idea what manifestation is. And this was the biggest boom cryptocurrency had ever seen. I think it was the first big bubble.
Yeah, the first historic bubble. Like people started taking Bitcoin seriously back in 2017. Yeah.
Correct.
And literally 2 days before I was supposed to leave for my London trip, my account went from $4,000 to $19,529.
Holy fuck.
It could have been 25,000, 30,000, 10,000, 5,000, but it was 19 fucking $1,000. And when I pulled out my money, the market literally crashed in 2 days.
So it's a classic example of subconscious manifestation, right? Mahima really, really, really wanted something. So an opportunity came. And in this case, it was masked as a friend that she had not spoken to for so long, which triggered a chain of events that literally put the universe instantly at work to make that one thing happen for her.
That is my co-host, Prithvi Methi.
Hi, guys. No, I'm not going to do that. So there is literally no other topic in this world that we'd rather launch this podcast with. So unlike Mahima, I actually knew about manifestation, right? I had read The Secret for Teenagers and The Secret, and I thought mujhe zindagi ki chabi mil gayi hai, because both those books translated to jo sochoge वो हो जाएगा. That is what manifestation meant to me. So I was like, बस अब घर बैठना है, सपने देखना है. The universe is sitting, just waiting to make things and do things happen for me. So this is back in 2015, while apart from manifesting that, all my acne goes away, I was manifesting a life in New York. So basically, this was the time when I was applying for college. I literally had no guidance. So all I wanted to do was get into New York University, like pure dilo jaan se. So from doing potty in the morning to before sleeping at night, that is all I thought about. I manifested a life in New York, living in a cute ass loft, wearing mini skirts to class, like trotting around Central Park.
Wannabe gossip girl.
Wannabe gossip girl, like full power. 1 year later, I ended up in West Lafayette, which is in the middle of American cornfields at Purdue University.
Oh God, like this manifestation could have, but it was such a bad manifestation. It didn't work. So like it could have been Chicago. It could have been, I don't know, Jersey City.
Jersey
I don't
City.
know. No,
Yep.
Chicago se bhi 2 ghante dur. She ended up in middle of cornfields. So clearly this manifestation did not work. But all the jokes apart, can anyone here tell me कि Prithvi की काफी intense manifestation didn't work out? Why?
जा पूछ क्या
Because she was missing the most important thing: inspired action.
Thing you did. Do y'all read about this or hear this? That you used to go up on Mulholland Drive and park
every night.
and visualize seeing yourself as.
Yeah, I would visualize. I would.
This is when you were broke and poor.
You know, right, having directors interested in me and people that I respected saying, I like your work or whatever that is. And
Didn't you write yourself a check? I heard that
Yeah.
you did. Is that
I
true?
wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe, and I dated it Thanksgiving 1995, and I put it in my wallet and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff, but then just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on, I think it was Dumb and Dumber, maybe.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah.
Yeah.
So you visualize yourself like.
Weird,
Visualization works if you work hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
if you
thing. You
work
can't just
hard-
visualize
Yeah.
and then, go eat a sandwich.
Yeah, I guess I forgot to tell you one very important thing कि मेरी सोच में कोई कमी नहीं थी but मेरे काम में काफी ज्यादा कमी थी because in my head full Serena van der Woodsen life was happening but in reality I was doing jack shit. So I barely studied for my SAT and so much so that even when I was submitting my applications, I was writing my essays in the submission box because I wanted to be raw and I just wanted to be myself as if this is some fucking journal entry that I'm doing,
Shooting.
right? So, but on some level, crazily enough, my manifestation did work because I got an interview from NYU. I did get an interview, but obviously I wasn't gonna get an admissions offer from them.
And that's the biggest problem with the TikTok trendiest content ever, which has over 4 billion fucking videos. Can you believe manifestation alone itself has teaching people some weird tantric shit, write 5 days, 55 number, angel numbers, find your crystals, your aura, shit like that, cleanse your energy. God. And these random processes, like sometimes I swear Bhai's movies make more sense, like what the hell, bro?
No, it's true because manifestation has kind of become this capitalistic concept where people are literally charging you thousands of dollars, apparently teaching you how to get material things, hiding behind spiritual perfection and performance. Look how I got my 7-figure salary doing nothing, and how I traveled the world by just writing grease on 5 different types of paper. Like, it's just really
What the
stupid. But honestly, that's just a sparkly version of manifestation that sells on the internet. It's kind of sad that manifestation has become a sales pitch by these Instagram influencers, when in reality, it's just a very simple and cardinal process that literally exists right inside you that can help you build a life you love.
And in all our research, we barely found any content that focuses on power of action. Manifestation doesn't start with or end with just, thinking. Matlab, by that logic, I would have been Elon Musk's sugar baby because that's all I think about every day, bro. And that's exactly what sets us apart in this whole sea of manifestation content on the internet.
So I think a lot of you might have read or have at least heard of the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. But for those of you who haven't, this book was literally one of the best-selling self-help books ever. And usually somebody like me who hates the likes of these cringe-worthy books like How to Not Give a Fuck, like fucking don't even get me started. This book was really awesome because it was devoid of any fluffy bullshit and said only one simple thing. Atomic habits are these really small changes that you make in your life every day that sometimes are even naive and irrelevant, but will literally compound into absolutely remarkable changes that will last forever.
And so that is what we are going to do in part one of this episode, combining two extremely talked about laws of the universe and create this incredible equation, which hopefully you is the biggest takeaway from this episode, which
Yeah.
is manifestation into atomic habits equals to achieving the life you want and not just dreaming it. So I was in my last year of engineering. I was just about to graduate. It was my last semester when me and Kriti became friends. And this communication major girl comes to me and she's like, "Oh, I'm manifesting that I will get a job." Oh, and I'm like, and she had like what, a month before the summer was about to start. And I was like, "Bro, matlab kya bakwas kar rahi hai? She's a communication major. In my field, people struggling to get jobs and stuff. I myself, a double major, is struggling so much. Everyone around me is struggling. And I was like, bro, like, ye ladki, she's very delusional. Of course, I said, yeah, Prithvi, I believe in you. But like, of course, I know she was like delusional. Honestly, that was the first time I heard someone educated talk about this whole concept with so much of like, belief that, no, this is true. I'm actually manifesting it. I am like really doing it.
So this is true. 100% true. This happened. But it was, I think, the last week of me, where I had to just get this internship. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been eligible for my visa. And it was kind of like something that I wanted to prove to myself and, prove to the people around me that I can actually do it. But it seemed very unlikely because I hadn't gotten a single interview till that point of time. Tuesday afternoon, I got an interview request, which translated into a job offer by Thursday. How did it happen? Why did it happen? Made absolutely no sense to me, but even so, made no sense to Mahima. Like, what is going on? Because she was the one who actually read my email that I had gotten the job. But I'm not excited to tell you this because that wasn't the exciting part. I could have gotten that job anywhere. I had applied to more than 300 goddamn jobs. I got one interview, one job, and that was in drum roll.
Concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing can do.
I'll have to equalize your voice for this part. I love it. But yes, that is absolutely true. I got that fucking job in New York. Like, Maiva's reaction was just like, holy fucking shit. Like, what the fuck just happened?
I still remember we were in Khana Khazana, chicken pad rahe dono, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, oh my god, okay, cool. Like, I was so proud of her, like, proud and a little bit jealous, and a lot of proud for her, like, really proud of her about that. Yeah.
So, why did my manifestation come true this time as opposed to last time? Sure, I did apply to 300 jobs, but let me be honest with you. There's this feature on LinkedIn called Easy Apply, where you basically just upload your resume and all you need to do is get baked and click on apply 10 times a day. And that's 10 job applications for you. But my atomic habit here was that I have to apply to 5 jobs every single day, whether that required 5 minutes of my time or it required 5 hours of my time writing different cover letters for every job. I made sure that happened. And that is the only reason that I feel like somehow the clocks of the universe came together and, made this manifestation of New York come true.
And I saw her doing that. Like, I was with her during that time. I saw her badi shiddat se applying every single day, But here's the catch. If you don't combine manifestation with atomic habits, you will only be focusing on like short-term goals.
Yeah, correct. Because when you're focusing on a short-term goal, once you get that, it's not going to repeat itself again. You're probably not going to want that goal again, which is kind of what happened to me last year, to be honest. I was trying to lose weight क्योंकि मुझे एक लड़का पटाना था, बॉस पे बहुत बड़ा crush हो गया था. But so I had this thing in my head and like I visualized myself all, skinny because I had really struggled with my weight back in college. I didn't really exercise. I didn't really starve myself, but इतना सोचा था कि भाई बस पतला होना है कि honestly, genuinely भूख कम हो गई, cravings कम हो गई थी. So I did end up losing a lot of weight. And I got all my clothes and everything was great. But as soon as I reached my target weight, Diwali came, New Year's came, Christmas came, Mahima came, and I was back on my bullshit. And I think 1 year later today, I've probably gained back like 50% of all the weight that I had lost. I was never able to sustain it and I'm not able to get back at it.
And the complete opposite thing happened to me, because what Chrissy just said, she was focusing on her short term goal. But when I moved to Boston, I focused on this identity, habit, harmony that the book talks about. So in college, I was 103 kg. I had really, really bad PCOS. I mean, my testosterone were as high as a guy who has just hit his puberty. And on top of that, I had side effects from my bipolar meds. So I was one of those girls in college who, after one joint, needs her chipotle with double queso, double sour cream. Like, they knew my fucking order, you know. So, and it's not like that I was an unmotivated, lazy child. I did work, try to work hard, try to starve myself, went on these crazy GM motor keto diets and stuff. But what the problem there was that my identity was not of a healthy person. My short-term goal was to look like this actress, or lose weight for because I'm going back home or something. But I never considered myself as a healthy person.
Yeah.
But when I moved to Boston, I don't know what happened, but I decided to change my system. And instead of setting up goals, I wanted to focus on shifting my identity. I decided that I want to be a healthy person who I don't care about. Like, I never wanted to have abs, and didn't even imagine that. Like, I want to get abs, or all I wanted to do was fit in an M size, you know, that's all
Yeah.
I wanted at that time. And once my identity changed, my relationship with food changed. I started counting my macros. I became that vitamin bitch, you know, like, okay, my supplement, like, I need my protein in the morning. I need this and that, like, you know, and
Really taking
suddenly I
care
think
of
my body,
yourself. Yeah.
and yeah, from the scratch, like creating a healthy, healing environment for myself, you know. And I ended up losing, I mean, I hope I don't look 103 kg. I ended up losing a big chunk of weight. And it's not like I don't eat, drink, go out, don't party, and I just literally eat salads. No, I still go out. I literally live in Belgium. People just drink and eat chocolates here. There's nothing else that's going on. But with my system change, with my identity change, I was able to reverse my PCOS naturally. A girl who struggled with her body, her weight issues, had to eat 7 medicines a day, twice. Suddenly was doing headstands, you know, suddenly she loves going to gym. So it was a huge, huge change for me, because now I identify myself as a healthy person. And like the book said, and like Kriti mentioned it before, I worked on bettering myself 1% every single day. I didn't start with, like, you know, I'm gonna fucking change everything. No, I started with small and, you know, gradual changes every day in my life.
Correct. And I think just that one change or one small habit that you had was like, okay, I'll just pop a vitamin pill today, eventually compounded into obviously the beautiful and stunning result that we see. And that is actually the power of atomic habits and manifestation put together, that is so rarely talked about, because you can't always rise up to your goals. I can't constantly be thinking, fuck, I need to lose weight, fuck, I need to lose weight. But you can always fall back on your systems. Like, Mahima's made such a strong system for herself that no matter where she is, whether she's on vacation, whether she's partying, her system is so strong that she always has it to fall back on. So that is what you can really do with manifestation and atomic habits, right? You can really find these blind spots in your life and make transformational change that will last forever. But the interesting part about all of this is कि ठीक है तो मैंने manifestation को बेच दिया है, but all of y'all smart community people, the scientists in the world, actually don't really believe in manifestation. Fuck believing in it. They kind of shit on it a lot, right? Because it's seen as this pseudoscience concept, because obviously there is no empirical evidence to back it up. But
so I'm very excited to talk about this, because
एक्चुअली साइंस की तरफ से सर, साइंस की तरफ से
and of course, like Prithvi said, for a very long time, all my life, I didn't believe in this manifestation bullshit. And like, I didn't really believe, you know, you can just think and things happen like that.
think and things
But yeah, but being a biology student all my life, when I was growing up, we were essentially told that brain could not be changed. Brain is, you know, the only way it can probably change is through a stroke, or if you lose your neurons. And it's essentially very, very much like, you know, a hardwired organ in your head, unlike your whole body. But all these research have been popping up in past decade, which talks about something that you can rewire and wire your brain based on your environment, your behaviors, and what you essentially consume. And this whole concept is called neuroplasticity. It basically talks that your brain is plastic, which is fucking crazy because you don't understand. Like growing up, I had only read opposite of that. So neuroplasticity comes in essentially in three layers. First layer is chemical, where when you try to learn something new in your life, your mind essentially releases all these neurotransmitters, these chemical signals, which is like, suddenly shocked. Oh, you're learning something new. Wow. And once you keep on repeating that, the second layer of it is structure, where there's a actual physical change, where these chemicals, because you've been doing this thing again and again, starts forming a new neural pathway, which is just insane. Like for me, you don't understand. That's a very insane concept. And the last layer of it is functional, where you have repetitively done something so long that now your mind has made this neuro pathway that and got rid of the old pathways. For example, when you drive to your work, you are essentially on autopilot because you've done this so many times. If one day you see that on Google Maps it's telling you a better way to go there, you would not be on autopilot at that time, and your brain suddenly would be doing something new, right? And when you keep on taking that way, because now it's shorter and takes lesser time to go to work, once you have done it many times over a month, now this new way will become your autopilot. And the whole road that you used to take before would be cut out, because all it takes to break our habits and our pattern is repeated actions.
But that's really interesting, Mimes, because while you were talking about neuroplasticity, it kind of, for me, it connects back to what James Clear talks about in his book, which is essentially behavior change, which, like you said, can create all these crazy connections in your brain. So the three layers of behavior change that he essentially talks about is identity, process, and outcome. Usually what we are trying to, we go upward down, we try to look at the outcome first, and then we try to do things to fit that outcome. What I was doing, I wanted to look hot so I could get a boyfriend. And I was like, okay, like I was doing things around it. But when you were like kind of losing weight, or you were trying to transform your life, you were in the middle of the circle trying to grow from identity. So you change your identity to being a healthy person, which in turn kind of changed your processes, whether it was, taking your vitamins or exercising a little bit every day, and eventually created such a powerful outcome that is absolutely impalpable, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, like, because I shifted my identity, my process was supported by the whole concept of neuroplasticity. There was so many new connections in my brain that was made when I was lifting up the weights, or when I was doing any hard exercises. I couldn't even touch my feet at one point, and now I want those fucking abs. So neuroplasticity and atomic behavior goes hand in hand. But if you sprinkle it up with the whole manifestation concept, where you're like, you really deserve, because manifestation is nothing but it gives you balls to really dream big, right?
Yeah.
So once you have achieved, you want to achieve something crazy in your life, atomic habits and literally science is saying that your brain will also change with you depending on that. So I don't know what people say or not say. I'm from science, and I completely believe that manifestation into atomic habits can literally change whatever people, pseudoscience, whatever the world says it, and I really believe in that.
So the purpose of this episode was to kind of give you guys a very holistic view and approach towards the topic of manifestation, because honestly, look around yourself. Everything that you see, from the lights in your room to the car you're driving to the device you're listening to this on, was unseen and started out as purely an imagination. Everything around you is brought through manifestation by somebody.
Steve Jobs, like, I was looking at his documentary a few weeks back, and in that he literally predicted iPads back in 1980s, when we didn't even have a fucking personal computer. Fuck personal computer, we didn't even have phones, back then. My man Stevie quoting my man Stevie,
want to do is we want to put an incredibly great computer in a book that you can carry around with you.
boom. 27 years later, we have iPads all around us. So fucking ahead of his time, of course, right? So these people thought they thought about something, that they believed in it so much that their actions automatically aligned and brought them into existence. The how it will happen doesn't matter with the universe, and it's not your job to figure out either.
So, for a lot of you cynics, all of this would still be coincidences and random things that happen and two girls on crack talking mumbo jumbo, and that's totally fine. And I know for a lot of you, manifestation has and will act as a really powerful tool to transform your life. So, either way, it's absolutely okay, because at the end of the day, we all believe in something. Literally, the whole business of religion survives on this concept of believing in this mythical figure that was written by some dude. Like, I should not say this, sorry if I'm not trying to harm any religious sentiments. I'm talking about all religions, all gods are at least I believe are based in fiction.
Let's try that again, shall we?
Literally, the whole business of religion survives on this concept of believing in something or somebody that we haven't touched, felt, or really spoken to. So, all we're asking to take out of this episode is talk to yourself good. If you can beg Bhagwan ji ki mere ko exam mein pass kara do, mujhe ye dilwa do, mujhe ye karwa do, speak to yourself the same way and send out those messages to the universe. And trust me, everything is going to align to make it happen for you. Okay, cool.
Cool.
So all of this was awesome, guys. We've covered all the good parts about manifestation and how it can really transform your life. But honestly, there's a very, very dark side to it too. These interesting questions that we kind of come up in our research, because we believe the concept of nazar is a way of manifestation, is a way of bad manifestation. There are questions like, are we manifesting our tragedies? Are we manifesting bad things that happen to us? Are we manifesting bad things that can happen to other people? And how does manifestation really work in these negative scenarios? So stay tuned and click somewhere here, there, wherever, and check out the second part.